Trapping plays a very important role in modern-day wildlife management. Professional wildlife biologists monitor fur-bearer populations to maintain a healthy and sustainable harvest of this important, renewable natural resource. Trapping provides recreation and income for licensed trappers across this country. Hoosier Trapper Outdoors is brought to you by Hoosier Trapper Supply. J3 Outdoors, manufacturer of the Hag Bracket and Body Trap Spring Clip. Leatherwood Creek Trapping Scents, Hoosier Trapper Deer Scents, and Leatherwood Wildlife Art.
Welcome to Episode 10, Season 9, Hoosier Trapper Outdoors. So this will be the first episode of our Semi Live series. Got to tell you, this morning we're out checking traps. Got a couple empty traps right here, one behind the camera and one behind me. So unfortunately that's kind of the part of trapping. Look at a lot of empty traps to catch a few critters. So anyways, want to thank our sponsor, J3 Outdoors, Jeff Haggerty. Here again, makes an awesome product, American made, great if you're a water trapper. It's got some other uses in terms of land trapping as well. So check out his products, Hag's Bracket, spring clips, drowner slides, the whole thing. So excellent products. I want to thank everybody for the orders. After all, that's what keeps all this going. Appreciate those of you that have stopped by the shop. If you haven't checked out our website, you might give it a look at HoosierTrapperSupply.com. Easy maneuverable site, and we've got everything that you need for trapping season. I will say that shipping has been a challenge. We're shipping every day. We ship all orders, right the day that they're received. For if they come in later in the day, late in the day, we'll ship them the next day. But the Postal Service and UPS are overwhelmed. Obviously, because of COVID, there's more people shopping online and not shopping in stores, and that's been the trend anyway. So some of it's been kind of inconsistent in delivery. So just bear with the system at the moment. So I also say that if you want to order by Christmas, there's basically 14th, 15th of December. I try to get your orders in by then, because that's kind of the point where you're losing the guarantee to receive it by Christmas. I want to mention our photo contest, the Show Us Your Bottle photo contest. If you go to the homepage of our website, there's actually a place on there that you can click that will show you the details of the contest, and there's also a new email to submit photos. So we've got photos coming through 4 or 5 different platforms, and to be honest with you, it's getting a bit confusing and we don't want to miss anybody. So if you'd use our photo contest email, it's htsphotocontest@gmail.com, and that'll get everything coming through the same point. We will try, we still accept photos from those other platforms, but we prefer that everybody use this one here. So anyways, hope you enjoy the show. All right, first day setting here in Indiana, 2020 season. It is November 7th, I believe. And this is our spot that we do usually really well. Justin, what you got going, Justin?
Classic dirt hole set. I am switching up a little bit as far as bait and lure selection from my other set, and we use a lot of top dog, but we also use change ups. We have a liquid fox and coyote bait. I like to use a little piece of corn cobble or stubble that's left in here, put that in the hole, and it holds the lure or the bait real good. Just soak that, put it in the hole and cover it a little bit. Then as far as lure on this one, let's go with some Coyote Carnage. It's one of my favorites. That one there, I did Top Dog and the new jet fuel that's been out. So 2 completely different smells, giving coyotes options on this side of the bridge. Not sure what Charlie used. What'd you use, Charlie?
I did use Coyote Carnage, and I actually used Finicky Feline on the other one. The Finicky was designed with bobcats in mind, but certainly is very attractive to coyotes and foxes as well. So just something kind of definitely a curiosity that's different. Might mention on the Coyote Carnage, we've got some super mild weather today. It'll probably get up to about 72 or so, and
yeah.
So it's great for this kind of weather. Sometimes you got to be careful when it's this mild, both during the day and at night, that you've got lures that are just not literally punching that coyote in the face with smell. So you got to be a little careful with something. Have something a little more subdued. You can see we're right up against suburbia right there. So
we've been saving the domestic cats and dogs.
Yeah.
That neighborhood owes us big time.
Yeah. Yeah. So behind us and to the south of us is all farm country. No, but we are right on the edge of urban sprawl for sure right here. This is our spot that we've done really well. We caught the triple here, not last season, but the season before. And this is I think this is our 4th year on this.
Is it 4th?
Yeah, 4th on this.
I know last year we did well, but not as well.
Right, it wasn't.
Does that sound right?
It wasn't super great.
Yeah.
But
we have picked up a couple red fox over the years too. I think we'll probably cut those loose if we catch them. There's just not that terribly many of them, so give them a fighting chance. But we definitely want to thin out the coyotes.
We've got probably a lot of you that have been following us will recognize this spot. It's got the farm bridge here, and then I've got sets over here. But while we're here, and the reason we originally got this spot was that the beavers were in here. So there's not a lot of beaver sign, but there is definitely some beaver sign, and we'll have to catch those to keep the farmer happy. So we can't set those for another week. Season doesn't come in on those until the 15th of November. So
we'll see what happens tomorrow.
Yeah. And then I set over here, kind of up against that brush edge right there. And then I've got one right here in the corner by the cornfield. So we've got 4 sets on this location. We could probably actually put 5 or 6 in here, but this has definitely got us well covered. So we've got travel way of the farm ditch there, going both ways, both sides. And then we have the advantage of the farm bridge here. And then in terms of a bigger location, we've got Interstate 65, probably, I don't know, maybe a third of a mile west of us there. So we've got that huge travel corridor of the interstate, which basically predators are going to run parallel to. There's some that get hit on the interstate, obviously, but generally they run parallel with it. So we have a lot of features here that make this location, better than most. We've got, like I said, we've got the interstate, we've got this farm ditch, we've got this farm bridge, and then we've got a spot here that is I wouldn't call it a pond, it's just kind of a depression that's got some water in it. Probably was dry, 3 weeks ago or 4 weeks ago. We've got quite a bit of rain after a 7 or 8 week dry spell. So anyways, just a lot going on here. Like I said, we've explained this place before, but just one of those spots that, even if we don't do that well here this year, it's just one of those spots that
we'll set it every year.
Yeah, we'll set it every year as long as we have permission. So, but it would be, if we don't do well, it would be more coincidence and timing than anything. So, anyways, all right. So this is the first location set up for fall 2020.
I'm excited.
Yep. All right. So here's the second spot we're setting up. We've got a farm lane coming through that woods right there, a farm field over there, and this is the location we haven't set for past 3 or 4 years. So, anyways, we've got a set along this edge here, farm lane there, and then Justin has a set right there on that, basically right in there. So if you follow this around, I've got a set back there and kind of in that corner where you see that sycamore tree. And then Justin, let me walk over there. All right, what you got going?
Made a little different set up here. Did a flat set, some fox gland lure, some urine. Trying to keep everything on this side of the rock. Trap's right here, somewhere in here. So, and I did, might upset the purists, but I did add bait underneath the rock. There is bait there, even though it's a territorial type set, but there also might be a snack there for him. Top dog. So, yeah, I don't know. Feel good about it. Kept everything on this side. Just threw an extra rock back there, maybe to keep them on this side of the. Let's feather this out and call it good. It's just a slight depression there to help kind of guide their foot to where the trap pan is.
And that's one of those things that you talk to some trappers, a lot of trappers, they want particularly on a flat set, they basically want everything completely level with the grade of the ground. And then there is some merit to having a slight impression there that actually subconsciously or consciously, however you look at it, directs that foot in the right spot where the trap is. So I think both ways obviously work. But this one right here has got slight depression. When we make a dirt hole, generally we are slightly below the grade of the ground. We only might be a quarter of an inch, a half inch below the actual grade, and that's not a step down. A step down would be significantly deeper, but step downs just fill up with water too much. Anyways, we normally work off of a slight, the trap is slightly below the grade of the ground, just to help direct the foot. So anyways, this is our second location set up. Now we got to get to work, and then we'll probably go set some after work. Since it's Saturday, we actually close at 3 today, so might be able to get a couple more locations set in this evening.
This the winner?
Well, this is a spot we've set for years and years, and this one right here might be 7-10 days before we connect, and it's always been like that. So they just run this big area. We've got 2-track behind the truck right there where Andrea's standing, and then farm ditch over there in the woods, cow pasture, and then of course that farm ditch goes on for miles. So it's a good travel way, but they don't come through here, or they don't stay around this area, so got to wait them out.
Hags Trapping Products by J3 Outdoors, the most versatile and efficient trapping devices on the market.
Got the Hags brackets on here. We just set this trap in one of the grooves, and it just sits right under there on the bottom slot, and then the water's just directly over the trap. All right, trap's missing. We'll see if we got anything. Hags bracket with the carrot. Can't beat that.
All right, we got Andrea here for
moral support.
Moral support and good luck.
Supervision.
Yeah, supervision.
This is
that is exactly it.
Yeah, I need it constantly. This spot's one of my favorites, really. It's where I caught my very first coyote years and years ago. Me and Charlie just set up 2 on each side of this farm bridge. It was corn on both sides and the classic ditch that runs right through it. There's some tree line, the bigger trees further back on the property, but I mean, we've caught a bunch of over the years running this farm lane. It's kind of a no-brainer. Can't really be on the actual 2-track. We got to be up in the grass a little bit because they are picking and working out here, and they're driving heavy equipment over this, so that could play a factor since it's happening right now. Maybe the coyotes aren't really coming in as much with all that noise, or they might be coming in just for that reason alone. They're stirring up mice and stirring up whatever
Right.
else
Yeah,
going on out here. So
I don't think it bothers them.
I don't think it matters really either, but we'll find out. Time will tell. No signs, no tracks, no droppings, but we're just going off past history here. It always connects, so.
Super dry. We've
Very-
been real dry. We got about 3 inches of rain 10 days ago, but it's very dry. 72 degrees right now. A year ago when we were here, it was like in the teens and snow on the ground. So
Yeah, I
What-
should not be in a t-shirt right
yeah, what a difference a year makes. But so,
now. We'll see. It'll pay off.
does it meet your approval? Yeah, Justin.
About got me. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's a quick moving possum.
He's not playing dead.
Nope.
He's biting the trap. That's a pretty aggressive one, really.
Yeah, that's pretty unusual.
Yeah, settle down, buddy.
Unfortunately, possums are not in season right at the moment. So
Trying to.
So this is check day 1. We checked one place already, nothing there. Checked this hot spot here that we've always called this place here, and so far it was just a possum. So we'll keep you posted for the rest of the day.
All right, so check day 1, blanked out. Well, 1 possum. Super warm. And I think that definitely affects this stuff. Makes them kind of lazy. They're probably all fat and living good, So got a front coming through on Tuesday. Cool things off. So maybe that'll pick things up. Today's Sunday. So we set up this spot here. Certainly set it a number of times over the years. Basically, here in front of the truck, we've got on this real brushy fence row, couple sets. Down at the end of the field, there's a creek running through that woods there, and then just across the bean field here, then on that edge over there, we've got a couple sets over there as well. So we've got a history with this place for years and years, but sometimes it's good and sometimes it's not. It just kind of depends on the year. So and when we're here, but we'll see what happens. One thing that always sticks in my mind on this place right here was down here in the bottoms a little bit more. I had a couple sets a number of years ago, and we had got 2 or 3 inches of rain. Super muddy. Everything's standing in the water, and obviously got traps out. You got to check them. So I'd pulled up here and I'd walk down just over this hill and I'd look at it and make sure there was nothing there. The next day I came, those dirt holes were literally just standing in water, and came and had a double on coyotes. So that was pretty cool. And that I think that I know for a fact actually that when that top dog is sitting in water, it probably activates it even more. And that smell was just there when they just couldn't resist it, even though it was just literally washed out essentially. But as long as that bait's there, it's still working good as far as attraction. So even if it's standing in a mud puddle. But yeah, it was pretty cool just walking over this hill and having that double down there in a time that I didn't expect it at all. So anyways, well, we're gonna go set up another spot, and so we got more options going for tonight to check.
All right, so we got this spot here, and this is an on again, off again spot. So we set it. It's not super productive, but it does produce some. Depends on the year. It's only a mile down from where the shop is, so, or not even quite that. So it's super simple to pull in here and check it. And because it's in somewhat close view of the road, we actually have our sets hugging the edge pretty tight.
Yeah.
So,
I'll tell you another reason why we don't set this too much. Normally there's a lot more water and moisture, and it kind of runs down off into this corner, into the ditch here for the creek, so it's pretty muddy usually. And you can tell a difference in the moisture in the soil right here versus all the other spots we've been setting. So,
but yeah, it is nice that it's been dry. We did get quite a bit of rain, but it just soaked the ground, just soaked it right up. So we're able to drive to where we want to trap, and saves us a lot of time, and don't have to worry about tearing up the farmers' fields or anything, which we wouldn't do. But it sure makes things a lot easier to trap when you can just drive to your location. So
yeah.
So anyways,
hope for a better tomorrow. Get more sets out and things settled in, and see what happens.
not a coyote, Justin.
Slow start.
Yep, slow start. As you can see, we're in shirt sleeves. So take care of him, remake the set. This set's actually even better now that he's been in there and kind of tore things up, and we'll show you the remake when we're done, and that's it. This is Top Dog, actually, that's a year old, and we get calls all the time about, or emails about how long you can keep bay, what you got to do to it to keep it. Main thing is just keep it out of the sun. It's probably going to get more liquidy. It almost always does, but to me that's actually a good thing because that liquid actually soaks into the dirt. So they got to really work at it to get to everything that's down there that's soaked in, yeah, there's nothing wrong. It's probably even better in most cases. So yeah, just go ahead and don't throw that bait away from a year ago. Just go ahead and go ahead and use it. So it'll work great.
What kind of lure did you use?
Black gold.
Black gold.
Top Dog Predator Bait. Success speaks for itself.
There he is, Charlie.
Yep, first one this season. That's a pretty nice coyote for Indiana. So first coyote, we've actually checked 3 days and haven't caught a coyote. And we've had like 75-degree weather. It's been super warm. I don't know if that's the complete excuse, but that's about what we've been up against. But we finally connected on this one this morning. This is the first stop. That's usually a bad sign if you catch one in the first trap, first stop. So
Superstitious, huh?
yeah.
Yeah, I think the temperature drop, it's much cooler today, and we had a little bit of rain last night, not enough to really do anything with mud or anything, but
Right. Yeah, we had
it's
that
totally different front.
come through. So see how the rest of the day plays out. But for sure, right now. Yeah, that's a pretty nice one, Justin.
Good color from here.
Yeah.
Charlie's gonna make the remake here.
This was almost a step down set. The way this sod was here, and it's real kind of heavy, and I usually don't set in this kind of a little bit taller grass, but the farmer, he said, hey, just keep off the road because they're bringing a bunch of equipment through here because they're still working on the fields. So so I set it here. Obviously it connected, but so I'm just gonna pull all this loose grass up and put that in the backing, and you can call that a trash pile set or whatever you want to call it, but that's what I'm doing. And still got the hole here. Oh, that's right, there's gravel in there from the I always try to be a little bit careful when I'm digging these holes back out, because if there's bait and stuff in there, I don't necessarily want that on top of my trap, even though on a remake like this everything smells anyways. But talking about step down sets, we typically don't make any type of step down set, or we're usually below the grade of the ground. But in Indiana, typically if you make a step down set, it just turns into a pond. Most years are not like this, where things have been pretty dry. Try to get these bedded in here as securely as possible. That's pretty important. One thing about when it's all torn up already, it's got just an incredible amount of visual attraction to it.
Definitely have plenty of smell.
Yeah, we can, when we pulled up here and rolled the window down to video the coyote, we could smell him. Kind of blend the edges, make it look natural.
Looks real good.
And I don't know what I did with my luring gloves. These are kind of my remake gloves. Whatever I did with them, they are somewhere out in the field. Fell out of the pack basket or something. So actually, finicky feline, which was actually, I formulated that for bobcats because it's got some catnip in it, but predators love it too. I mean, other canines. So for something different, I use that, and I'm just gonna shove that in there.
Top dog and finicky.
Top dog and finicky.
Was that the original?
I believe it was originally finicky. So
okay.
Press this out. And that's the completed set. Hell, man, what a difference the weather change makes.
We had something going on. Second location, second coyote.
Yep. This one here, because he's going to be a talker, so we were close to the road as far as visual, so we actually hugged up in that brush, and we were actually having trouble. We could tell something was back here, but we were like, what is that for? So we weren't sure. But anyways, we actually hugged the cover pretty extensively here just to get out of view of the public from the road if they happen to be looking or paying attention. So that was the idea here, and it certainly didn't impair or didn't affect catching the coyote. So a lot of times we say set a little bit further in the field. One thing I will say is when you've got a situation like this and you're trying to avoid catching possums and coons and stuff, which we haven't here yet, the closer you are to the cover, the more likely you are to catch that other stuff. So, but anyways, this guy is a talker. Go take care of him and get the set made. Another pretty nice one, a little bit darker, but still a nice coyote. It's got some fur on it, and take care of him and get this set remade. And this is, like Justin said, second location. So second location, second coyote. It cannot resist the top dog, that is for sure. I mean, that stuff. We just had a little bit of rain go through last night. I mean, it probably barely even settled the dust. We had a front come through. Like I said, we've gone 3 days and not caught a coyote. Everything connected last night for sure. So, coyote, and this one actually had predator magnet on it. So coyote, top dog, coyote urine, predator magnet.
This backing you could go like this for sure, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I'm going to flip it like this, so we've just got everything just pinpointed right there at that point. So all their attention, I'm going to put the lure right there, so all that attention that coyote, when he comes up here, is right there, traps here, and just give that complete focus to that one point right there is the idea behind that. So one thing I'll say too, if you flip it the other way like this, you use a shorter piece, sometimes they'll hit the back of it and it'll roll onto your set or whatever. So you always got to bear in mind that kind of an issue. Oh, that was good. Top dog, irresistible to coyotes. And my predator magnet's about going. That's enough. So top dog, predator magnet, and I'm gonna squirt a little bobcat urine on this one just for something different, since we already got plenty of coyote urine smell here. And hopefully we can pick up another one. Justin's got it set right back here. He missed the coyote there, just didn't step in the right place. We're assuming it was probably this one. No way to 100% tell, but we'll see what happens.
Cool set here we've caught here over the years. It's funny, we were walking up and there's a good sized, good bodied deer from the distance. Couldn't tell if it was a buck or doe. And it was actually walking in. And we were trying to hurry to get over here to scare it because I didn't want it to get in my set.
Yeah.
And turns out it was a big buck. He hung around, and as soon as we crossed over the creek, there's a coyote over here. That deer was interested in this coyote. I mean, it was probably...
He was real nosy about us.
He had to be about from here to it, you know, about... And sure enough, he took off, flagged his tail. Good sized buck, shooter buck.
He was nosy about us, and he was nosy about this coyote. It was kind of weird for that big of a buck to be like that. So, think about deer. Once they find your sets, they stomp in them. They're curious about the smell of the urine and the lure and stuff. So, yeah, it's just...
Yeah. Charlie's got a set further down here, and I just set this corner. We got beans over here, the creek running through, the fence line, corn here. It's just a multiple intersection change up. The dirt holes right here. I'm using bobcat urine, and I did on this post, I did put a little, because I know in the past it usually takes us a little longer to connect here for whatever reason.
This is fourth check day though. So.
Yeah, this year it's a little quicker. I did put a little long distance air on top of the post to try and get it out in the air. And of course we're using the top dog predator bait down in the hole. And I can't remember which lure I went with this one. I want to say black gold, but I'm not for sure. But paid off.
Yep.
We'll remake this and hopefully get another one tomorrow.
Yep, number 3 for the day.
Oh, the hardest part.
Don't fall down the hill.
There we go. Gotta get your morning workout and make sure you eat your Wheaties.
Which neither one of us do.
I know. This is not the coyote we were looking for. Coon thinks he's a badger. Going crazy digging with the back leg catch. This is a flat set that I made, and I had some top dog under a rock. And we came yesterday, and the rock was slightly pushed out of the way, and the bait was gone. So, you know, I was thinking maybe coyote could get that bait. Maybe it was a coon, I don't know. But this isn't what I was hoping to see. But we got plenty of visual now, a lot more eye appeal. We'll remake this set, and hopefully that will draw some more attention in for any passing predator, canine. So take care of this and do the remake.
Q&A. So appreciate the questions coming in. I've got 3 of them I'm going to address. The first one has to do with sheep's wool. Someone wanted to know if they could use sheep's wool as a underall under the pan of the trap. You know, you use a pan cover over the pan, or someone will use polyfill from like a fabric store under the pan of the trap to keep that area clear so the trap will fire. So this individual, this trapper, wanted to know about using sheep's wool under the pan. I would highly advise not to do that. That sheep's wool's got the smell of sheep, clearly the smell of lanolin. So the last thing you want to do is have something that smells in your trap itself, and that basically just sparks the curiosity of the predator and they'll want to dig it up. So definitely you want to avoid that. So not a good idea. Certainly polyfill or a pan cover is the way to go. The next question was, why do I dye my traps? Or why do I have to dye my traps? Okay, to be honest with you, you don't really have to. I think it helps clean them up. If you've got new traps, just get the oil off of them, wax them, and go. So the wax seals in the smell of the trap to a certain extent, certainly makes the trap faster and gives rust protection. Just makes the trap function better. As far as dye, once you've used your traps, you've got a season on them, they've got some rust on them or whatever, and obviously some animal smell and dirt and stuff. So typically we'll power wash them, run them through the dye, which is there's some natural acids in the dye which help clean the trap up. And it will color the trap as well. But you know, when you talk about water traps, you know, the color may be important to a certain point, not really a big deal in my view. And certainly in land trapping, you're covering the trap up, so the color of the trap is not really that super important. So, albeit I kind of like the trap looking nice and dark and coat of wax on it, but you know, in the scheme of things, we're targeting the animal, we're not targeting the trapper. So, here again, I think it's a good way to clean them up, and like I said, the acid in the dye helps clean the trap up. So, anyways, last question was a friend of mine called yesterday. Very accomplished trapper, and he was concerned about his wax dirt causing complete avoidance by coyotes. And he was concerned that maybe he had, when he heated the wax up, he was using the cement mixer method with the torch on the outside, that maybe he had burnt some plant material in the dirt and caused that smell. And that they were just avoiding the set. I guess my reaction to that would be, typically that wouldn't cause an avoidance. It would just be the animal would be digging at the set. There is definitely an attraction to something burnt at a set. There's even baits that have a smoky smell to them. So I don't think that was the issue, and we just kind of left it, and he was wondering about alternative covers, and he was trying to air out his wax dirt, and I said, yeah, let me know how that works out, because I've got to, you know, it was just kind of a circumstances that, you know, all of us occasionally run into. And I got to thinking over the course of the day, it's like, here we are in December, even though, you know, time's flying by, and we're after, for the most part, after the dispersal of the pups, so the families are no longer together. Everybody's just kind of hanging out, trying to establish their home range. And they call that kind of the December lull. So coyotes are, a lot of times this time of year, particularly December, maybe early January, but particularly December, are just not themselves like they are the rest of the year. And sometimes they're more difficult to work a set. They're not as territorial. So that clearly changes where that coyote's head is at. Another thing that I'll say, most of us here in the upper Midwest are on the backside of deer season. So we've got gut piles, we've got deer parts that have been dumped by hunters, in areas. In some cases, we've got wounded deer, and that has created a food base for these coyotes that basically only occurs once a year. So I think the combination of that, along with the December lull, makes coyote trapping in December a challenge. So I texted him back, later in the day. I said, maybe that is the issue, and he's like, that's really a good point, because my wax dirt usage would coincide certainly with this December time of year. So I haven't talked to him. That was just yesterday, so I haven't talked to him since. But I think a lot of us run into this where we're just looking at a lot of empty traps come December, whereas they probably would have produced better in late October and November. You're still going to catch predators and coyotes in December, no doubt about it. But I think it gets a little more challenging and takes a little more patience between catches. So anyways, I hope that helps. A lot of times it's just circumstances of the time of year that you're at in terms of success.
Hey guys, thanks for watching Hoosier Trapper Outdoors. Just wanted to let you know that we do have our new fall catalog out. It's got lots of great products in there and photos. So if you would like to receive one, please visit us at www.hoosiertrappersupply.com, and it'll walk you through on how to request one. You can also print one out from there if you don't want to wait on one to come through the mail. We also would be more than happy to take a request over the phone at 317-881-3075. We are a complete trapline outfitter. We offer lots of great lures and baits, and we also have a complete line of deer scent.
Yep, and also while you're online, follow us on social media. We're on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, of course. We really appreciate it. You could give us a like or share if you can, and subscribe to the YouTube channel. That'd be great. And don't forget about the podcast that we have, the Trap House Podcast and the Fur Shed series. And also there's a Facebook group that I started called the Catch Circle, and that's open to anyone. It's a great trapping community. Ask questions, buy and sell lures and old traps, whatever. Anything trapping related, it's welcome. So we appreciate that, and we'll catch you on the next episode.
Yeah. Thank you for all the orders and supporting our small family-owned and operated business. We truly appreciate it.
Join us on December 25th for the next episode of Who's Your Trapper Outdoors.